What up, everybody? Welcome to another rendition of Fast and Furious, where we talk to HubSpot partners on their scaling journey. Today, we have with us Jasey Tielen. He is the founder and CEO of Bonana. His good year. Claim to fame is they're about to be plat in 8 months, just on the cusp of it, and which is really cool, moving fast. And number two is the way they're approaching the system is unique from day one. They're coming in as a niching inside HubSpot, but then have partnerships coming in day one with a total solution, which we'll explore more during our time together. Welcome, Jasey. How are you?
I'm great, Matt. Thank you. And just for the clarification, I'm the co-founder. The founder and the CEO is Rogier, and I'm the co-founder and the CCO.
Received. So you're the person that does everything.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good summary. We have a really good balance in there, but yeah, it's Rogier is the founder and the CEO.
Yeah, there's both in the EOS framework. There's the visionary and the integrator, and it's just something else. There's a powerful synergy occurs, in my opinion. My background being having done something with a partner when there's a partner, and so just as a point. Yeah. Okay, Jasey, like everybody I found finds HubSpot differently, even just becoming admins. I found that to also be true in founding a company. What led you to saying, I'm going to burn the ships and go and be crazy enough to start a company 8 months ago?
Yeah, so I think it's not really that crazy because I came from an elite partner. So I really had a heavy background in HubSpot. I worked there for 5 years. And then I think during the last 2 years, I was constantly thinking about myself, like, how can I be an entrepreneur? In which way? What would I like to do? And I think I learned a lot from being at that elite partner, and what I really liked about being there, and at the same time, what I really didn't like. And I think Bonana is a combination of both. Becoming a HubSpot partner was a really easy choice, but at the same time, I didn't want to be only an HubSpot partner. So HubSpot was part of our tech stack. Eventually, when they don't have a CRM or they need to upscale from Pipedrive, whatever it might be, obviously we're going to advise HubSpot, because I really believe in HubSpot as a CRM, as a software solution, but also in the people that work at HubSpot. But then again, like I said to you, it's just being focused around HubSpot. Okay, you have HubSpot. It solves a lot of things. It really helps you in commercial strategy, but at the same time, it doesn't fill all of the blanks. So how can we help you to fill all of the blanks around HubSpot, basically? And at the same time, we also have, which is, I think, a little bit atypical if you look at the Netherlands and Belgium at HubSpot partners, we really have a big axis on digital, right? So we actually have 2 designers that have worked for 8+ years at a digital agency. They do branding strategy, they do the design, motion design. They go quite far in the digital space. So yeah, the combination for us is really what makes us, I think, unique. And especially when you look at from the more technical growth pillar, how we call it then, where HubSpot is actually in. Like I said, with the tech stack, it's also a little bit atypical. So that's what actually brought me to take this step, because I didn't see anyone in the market actually doing this in a really profound way. So that's when I decided to get it with Rogier. We had a lot of discussions because I used to work with him years ago, and we always said, we're going to do it one day, but let's just see when it's going to happen. And then he founded Bonana in 2022. So it was like a sort of 1.0 version. And it was really basically like a digital e-commerce agency, right? So they were just building e-commerce websites for 3,000-4,000 euros, really high volume. At the same time, when we started discussing, I was sitting in front of him. I was like, do you really like this? Do you really feel like you're helping your clients in a really broad and efficient way? And he was like, no. I was like, yeah, okay, let's combine our 2 backgrounds. Because it's completely different. He has more an IT background. Obviously, I come from the HubSpot ecosystem. So that's why we actually combined it a little bit. And this is the result where we're actually at this point.
I love that story. Specifically how I think there's good stories around partnerships and around founding stories on how you're thinking about it and the evolution of company. We'll walk a little where you're at now. We'll talk about where you're going, your goals, and what you've had to overcome to get where you're at. Also, we'll touch in this idea of the hub and spoke, if you would, of the partnerships around HubSpot to dive deeper in that. You're right now, where is revenue at and where are employees? And so when you think about where you are today, and then when you think 1 year down the road, maybe 5 years down the road, what is the goal and aspirations that you're trying to hit?
Yeah, you would get a really different answer from here or me. So we're still aligning on that one. But no, like we're at this point is we're really aiming to go to 100,000 euros a month in terms of revenue, right? And in terms of people, we have 8 people actually fixed attached to Bonana. And at the same time, we have almost 20, 25 people in like a flex layer, people that I
Mm.
know in the ecosystem that I know that actually can deliver that good quality. And the thing is with us, and that's one of the maybe USPs that I didn't mention before, is what we really focus on as well. And what I've seen in the ecosystem is we really try to hire people that are meteor plus. So we don't try to hire juniors, especially in the beginning, which is, I think, quite logical. But at the same time, we will really aim to hire meteors even when we're 2, 3 years in. Like that, when because we service SaaS and business services as an industry, all of those companies are quite digital mature by themselves so that we can actually provide value instead of
Mm.
having a really good margin, hiring people that left school, that we can actually provide value in a more and more structured way. But yeah, that's where we're at this point. And I think in a year, the goal that we have for this year is that we end with 25, right? And that we end with 200,000 euros a month in terms of revenue. And then for in 5 years, yeah, we have been going for 6 months, so it's 8 months. It's really hard to answer that one, but yeah, I think if you would ask here, because he basically had an IT agency, it's called Incentro. That used to be a HubSpot partner way back, but they aren't anymore. But he basically built it from 8 to 500 in let's say 20 years. He was there for 20 years. I think if you would ask him, he would say, yeah, 400, 500 people. While for me, maybe I would say, yeah, I don't know if it's like 100, 150, and we're just having a good time all together, we're having nice clients, that's fine as well. So yeah, it really
I,
depends on who you ask.
I will say, in terms of the HubSpot ecosystem, 100 people is one of the biggest companies in the ecosystem. So I don't think that's going to be true 5 years from now. I think there'll be a lot more 100 people
Yeah.
agencies slash consultancies. I love two things you said specifically. Number one was your hiring strategy, which is, hey, from day one, it is you're constantly in tension, especially when you're starting in services, is you must have cash flow, and you're either that cash flow, you're either spending it, you have to have it. So you have a decision. Am I going to hire junior people and train them, or am I hiring senior people and bring immediate value? If you
Okay.
hire senior people, you barely eat food. You don't pay yourself. If you hire junior people, you get to eat more, but then it sometimes gets moldy because
Yeah.
it's a poor
Yeah,
experience.
for me,
So
it feels if we can actually, because like I said, we really want to have a sort of strategic partnership with our clients. So when we start with an HubSpot implementation, for example, we always say, okay, guys, we don't want to do an implementation for 20K because that's sometimes when they come to us, hey, we got a quote from one of those partners and it's 20K. We can do it maybe for 5 because we just want to do the implementation in a good way because we have the experience to do it in less time than maybe others can. But at the same time, the rest of that budget, we would like to use it to actually build your business, get some business impact in there, whatever it might be, marketing strategy, sales strategy, maybe the digital side of the website, branding, whatever it might be. So I think what we actually try to aim for is when we actually hire those people, that those people could actually have business impact at our clients. And at the same time, that means those partners will not see us as like an HubSpot partner, but they will actually see us as an agency that can help them grow in a better way.
yeah, and I've heard this from taking that. The next is when I love this is even here you are. Hey Matt, this is how we position ourselves, and our hiring strategy directly reflects our go-to-market strategy. So even how we talk about ourselves is we're having senior people, and yes, we may have a lower entry cost, but we are able to provide faster value and ongoing value because we have a senior person. And my
Exactly.
hiring directly reflects my go-to-market. I think it's just so important. I love that you're doing it. Like it's cool. Even here,
Yeah.
day one, you're thinking through that.
Yeah.
Um, so
Definitely.
as we think, you think about these goals, you say 6 months, 8 months in, what is, gosh, you're 8 people. You have then an overlayer where you have contractors that are, essentially they're the bench that are trying out often to become full-time employees. What are the three biggest initial challenges you face since going to market and being with Bonana?
Yeah, I think what you just said, because like we hire those meteor senior people, there's not an awful lot to eat for the founders, right? So I think that's one of the challenges, definitely. I think at the same time, finding those people, because yeah, obviously you do have a lot of those people in the ecosystem, but they're all associated to already one of the partners, or maybe they want to just work in an internal organization. They're fed up with the agency life. So it's really hard to find skilled people. And for me, quite and still, let's say, an adult ecosystem of HubSpot, especially in the Netherlands, and I wouldn't even talk about Belgium, but if you look at the amount of people that actually have the knowledge to operate on a really high level, that's not an awful lot. And at the same time, people that can also handle their clients in terms of project management, because yeah, we're a startup, you need to do everything. You don't have a sort of fixed role that, hey, you need to do implementations, or you need to do project management, or you need to do this. No, you just get a client and you need to try and do as much as possible. And then when it's really specific in terms of expertise, you get somebody else flying in. So I think that's the second challenge, to actually find those people, because they're just a different breed. It's really hard to find them. And I would say that maybe the third challenge is combining our own roles, because Rogier is more a consultant on the strategic side of things, so like brand strategy, maybe commercial strategy in general. I'm obviously a CRM consultant, more on the RevOps side. We need to hire people. We need to maintain cash flow. We need to do administration, and at the same time, we get pulled into projects.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, sometimes it's some weeks like this week, for example, it's fine. It's okay. Some weeks it's crazy. It's so chaotic. So that's definitely the third challenge.
Yeah, you have to do more while eating less than others at the founder. Like
Yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah,
just part of the founder journey. You're in it. So when I receive what you're saying, you're like, Matt, I'm in it, and I have lots of challenges.
yeah,
I got to hire people. I have to do work. I have to think about strategy. I have to go
yeah.
commercially product. I have
Exactly.
yeah.
And
So
also sales. I even forgot about
I
sales.
was like,
Like,
and I have to eat, and I have to go kill food. So
yeah, exactly, exactly,
uh,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
How do you like as a new partner? How are you thinking about sales today? I'm often talking to new partners, and they're saying they ask me the same question, Matt. How do we get our first sales? I think it's different based on what you're niching, how you're going to market. But how did y'all think through that problem?
Yeah, like, to be completely honest, I don't think we really thought about that when we started. It was just like, let's go with the flow, because we actually hired people after we got the sale often, because we were still doing the projects. Obviously, at this point, it's not possible anymore, because now we actually need to have a projection of people that we need to hire. But yeah, so for sales, it's at this point, we're bringing a lot to HubSpot even. So again, it's really different than what I'm used to. So because he has a huge network in the CCO landscape, I have a really big network in terms of all of the customers and people that work there that went somewhere else, etc. I think that's really falling together at this point. That's really working well. We're not really pushing to do sales. We don't have an outbound strategy that much. It's not like we go to events and harass people at events or something. It's just it's happening organically, and it has to do with what we see as one of our USPs. When we have enough seniority within the team, people that worked with those people, they know that they know their stuff. So eventually they will see their LinkedIn and they'll be like, oh, wow. For example, the last hire that we got was like a RevOps specialist at Content2. It's like a sort of like content marketing agency in the Netherlands. And she's really good at HubSpot. She has a lot of RevOps knowledge. So when people see her leaving, they'll be like, oh yeah, maybe that's a good agency to talk to when we have a RevOps challenge. So I think more leading by example in terms of thought leadership in the people that you actually hire. I think that's working well for us. And yeah, that's definitely something that we will keep
I ask
doing.
one follow-up question just to make sure I understand is, are you talking about the networks of the people that you have? Are you going to market yourself even like with LinkedIn content? What I'm hearing is there's some kind of thought leadership or is this literally happening organically just through hires and they're coming? Like how is it inbound? I understand not doing outbound.
It is inbound. It's definitely inbound. But yeah, for LinkedIn, we're definitely posting. I think now it has been 3 weeks or something, but by the end of last year, maybe in the beginning of this year, we did post some LinkedIn posts, and then it enforces each other, because like people have a specific image of you, and then when they see you pop up on LinkedIn, they'll be like, okay, let's reach out and call Ruhi. Let's reach out and then call Jasey, maybe chat a little bit. So it is enforcing each other, but the thing is time. Even though it's one LinkedIn post, maybe two, it's just prioritizing right now, and it's just not on my list to actually do that in a really structured and maybe a recurring way every week. But yeah, it's just inbound. It's literally peeping and people calling us and asking like, hey, can you help me with this?
Sounds like you have something magic where people are coming. That is the goal.
Yeah,
uh,
yeah. I think, like I said, it really depends on. I think I did over. I would say like 250 projects in the HubSpot ecosystem. So yeah, all of those people that worked there, even though they weren't the decision maker back then, they were like, for example, a marketer, and then eventually they moved to a marketing manager role in a different company. So your ecosystem in that way, your network is quite big.
yeah.
And I think what we also have is that we're really flexible. Like I said, with the implementations, we're really flexible with pricing. So when they come with a specific challenge to us and they say, JC, yeah, I just need to solve this. We won't give them a quote of, okay, no, but when you need to solve this, you need to do this and this and this. We can advise them to do so, but if they want that problem solved, we'll do it. Even if it's like 2K, 3K, we don't care at this point, right? Because we're still like building the blocks. It's fine. And that gives them a lot of, I would say, trust as well, and like confidence to
Mm.
actually start working with us. And while maybe others would say, which I can completely understand, would say, no, we need a minimum amount of 3 months for 10K. So that's also a big part as well, why they actually come to us. And references is starting growing right now, again, from the new customers that we have.
Yeah, I heard three things, and I think these are all helpful, especially when you're starting and you're in the middle of it. It is you didn't start with a fresh. You didn't just say, "I'm going to wake up one day and say I'm going to start and do things in HubSpot." You had a
No.
repertoire of success that is built over a career, either in your past life where people know you, and so when you move or you start, there are now people in decision making positions that you worked with in the past that now know you. So there's just this network effect. I
Exactly.
think it's important when you think about, hey, what should I do? How should I start a partner? The best way to start or learn something is to do your current job really well. And it's just,
Yeah, 100%. I agree.
I think just a
Yeah,
good learning.
yeah, 100%.
Number number two is I have forgot my other 2 points as I was listening, but that was like the one. That's the one that really hit me was,
Yeah,
hey, just do the current work you have, and if you make a transition, your network will help you. Oh, I remember number two. Number two is, and I just love this. Is we're not about squeezing profit out right now. We are totally and 100% about learning what works, and thus we're okay to be flexible. And that I remember when I did a HubSpot partner, I did 30 onboardings for free, just like in 1 month, and they're all really low
I get
cost,
it.
just to learn what the heck people needed. And I
Yeah.
think it's just being willing to do that, especially at the beginning. It's just a necessity because you got to find your niche, you got to find the thing you're going to focus on, and how you're going to win. So
Yeah, you get net new logos on the website as well. Like you can work with a lot of nice companies. Look, it's a win for both, right?
mhm,
So
trade and value. So as you think
yeah.
about you think about your 2xing revenue at 200K, you're thinking about more than 2xing employees. What How are you doing that? What's the bet? What's the one bet you think next year is like, here's the thing we're betting the house on the next 6 to 12 months?
Yeah, so for now, it's really, even though we have the experience, we need to get our processes right. So everybody has a knowledge, but like I said, it's a startup, so everybody's doing everything, right? We really need to structure that a little bit so people will not like, you need to do this because you're a project manager, you can only do project management, not that, but still, hey, because you're a project manager, you need to take ownership of the process of project management. Which tooling will we use? How will we use them? I think all of that for us is to figure out because eventually that will have a huge impact on the retention of recurring customers. And eventually, if we get some new business in, which we will, I'm not doubting that, then that will really help us to get there at the end of the year in terms of revenue.
I love this. This is especially true in service companies, but also true in a SaaS company. Every company is creating
Yeah.
two products. One product is external, it's the thing that you're delivering with. Another product is internal, it's how you're training. Now, in
Yeah.
services, your external product ends up being your internal product. And so it's
Exactly.
even more important. So that's awesome you're focused on it now. So, JC, is going to end with these two questions we ask every single time. Based on what you know now, what is one thing you will never do again? You talk about these learnings. What's one thing you're saying, I'm not doing that again?
That's a good question. Let me think about that one. I think when we started, it was like, yeah, we have everything, like we have some things in place, and everybody believed, okay, we have the back office in place, we have this in place. No, we didn't. Like everything needed to be figured out. It was fine, but just believing Like when I asked the question, is it set? Yeah, it is. No, it wasn't. So I think that's one big thing, because it took us a month to get that up and running. And then at the same time, what we wouldn't do again, maybe this is a really luxury situation to say, but I can't really think of something else, to be honest.
What's something you would do earlier?
Structuring the process, like I just said. I think even though it's just 8 people, like when we would have done that in the beginning for every one of our pillars, right? Because obviously for the CRM side of things, we had a structure. We knew it out of our head. We knew it because we came from an agency that actually had it, right? So we actually implemented it quite quick. But then for the other pillars, we're still figuring out a little bit. I think we could have done that earlier in the beginning.
When you say processes, I'm assuming you mean like invoicing, payroll.
No, I just mean like how will we actually service a client?
So what I'm hearing you say is it's really important to have a methodology that is consistent with sales and delivery, and it's experienced the same way. Here's how we deliver,
100%.
and then this
100%.
on the sales, and then it should feel that way. It should actually feel that way.
Yeah, exactly. Expectation management, just like providing the value that they actually expect. So yeah,
Okay.
For me, I guess the most important part of actually starting with a services company.
Roger that. Jasey, this is awesome. I love, like, you are on the journey, you're doing it, you're not eating much, but having to produce lots of calories and belief. You're eating belief for dinner, which is
100%.
I love that. Jasey, if people want to talk to you after this, what's the best way to get in touch with you?
I guess via LinkedIn. I think that's the best way to reach out to me or here. They can always reach out to us. We're always open to talk.
Roger that. Appreciate the time. Thank you for joining Fast and Furious and sharing your story.
Thank you, Matt.
Hey, stay awesome. Keep doing it big. Stay super. Adios.
Bye-bye.